People don't become gay. I feel that people were born gay. If a parent doesn't understand that, then there's no way they're going to understand where their child's coming from.
This was a systemic issue. I was being assaulted because of who I was.
They're afraid their parents are not going to love them the way they used to.
People are scared of something. Generally, people are scared because they don't have no information about it, and they don't know anything about it.
I don't know that I have a role, per se. I became involved because my son is gay, and looking at the discrimination that he dealt with when he was in school, and knowing how many youth continue to face that same level of discrimination. As you walk through the hallways in school, you continue to hear, oh, that's so gay, or it's so gay. And either we don't recognize how hurtful it is, or we choose not to recognize how hurtful it is.
My name's Sam Finkelstein, and I'm a community organizer with an organization called Gender Just. For me, my school was not a safe and definitely not an affirming place for me to be. And so I dropped out of school. And the reason why it wasn't safe and it wasn't affirming, there was a lot of violence. I was harassed and I was assaulted often, and there was never an accountability by the faculty.
I've always been involved, whether it was in college during the Vietnam protests. When I see something that is wrong, I feel it's necessary to step up and say that's wrong. Don't do that.
Gender Just does a lot of work in schools, and Gender Just believes that that's a very important place for us to be organizing, because schools are the places where people are socialized and taught what is right and what is wrong. So it's really important to us to ensure that education is safe and affirming.
Anybody that's different, you know, and they come to their parent, there's always going to be situations. And you just have to make sure that your child knows that these sort of things are going to come under criticism because of the difference. And not necessarily sexual, but just because of the difference in whatever form or fashion.
A lot of families are raised under different kind of religions that do not accept gays.
I know people that have come out of the closet, and their families have reacted in various ways. I had one friend who actually came out of the closet while he was on crutches, and his mother threw the crutches out of the house and made him go get them. Yeah, I had another friend come out of the closet, and his family was actually extremely supportive.
I think in terms of how a parent reacts to a child in a positive way as opposed to a negative way makes the difference as to whether or not they grow up to be a healthy person, or whether they grow up to be a person who has a great deal of problems in their life.
I think that if somebody's parents have a positive reaction to them coming out of the closet, that is is probably very affirming for that young person. I know for me, it's just that, when my mother was accepting, when I came out of the closet, it was, one less huge hurdle that I had to deal with. But
dialogue is very important, and I just try to make sure that nothing he could ever do or say is new.
Dropped out of school. I was 16 years old, and so obviously, one thing led to another, and I ended up living on the streets for a couple of years.
I think in a lot of cases, teens are more frightened than they need to be, because I think a lot of parents may come off a certain way, but when it really hits home, what the bottom line is that they love their children.
The ones that we're the most directly involved with is the Broadway Youth Center, which the sign's right here behind me. Also the Center on Halstead, which is also available. There is also the ACLU, and I'm looking at the National Youth Advocacy Coalition, and there's also Lambada, which is a Hispanic group.